Today, we are having a conversation about the Amish and photography. I have seen websites speaking about photography in the Amish, how you're not supposed to take pictures of them and stuff. And I don't know why this is such a huge deal in the non-Amish world to talk about Amish and photography. Make sure to stay until the end so I can answer the question of, are you allowed to take pictures of the Amish? Growing up, I was taught that we do not take pictures of people because it's like vanity or pride. And we're not sure if it is wrong to take pictures in general, so we just don't, just to be on the safe side. That's what I was taught. The Amish don't allow any devices that have a good camera on it. Like when you're young, you're not allowed to have a phone or a camera. When you're a member of the church, you're not supposed to have either one of those either, except for some churches in some communities allow their members to have a cell phone with very limited stuff on it. They would probably still have a camera on it. So because they don't really typically have cameras and cell phones that much, then that's a reason why they don't take pictures as well. Some of them are allowed to use it for like only business use, and they're told that don't use it for anything else. That's what my dad did when he was a business owner in the Amish. We were allowed to have like a canvas or a plaque on our wall, but it wasn't allowed to be pictures of people. It can be like a sunset. And we were also allowed to have a little Bible verse on our plaques, but my grandma told me in her generation, they were not allowed to have Bible verses on their walls. I have quite a few pictures of me when I was Amish. I only have one when I was a little girl, like 5 years old, and that came from my aunts that took a picture of me when they were not a member of the church yet. And then the other ones that I have is when I was in Rumspringa. So I had a phone and I had a camera, but my parents didn't know that I had that. There's actually a lot of Amish on social media, believe it or not, especially the young people in Rumspringa before they joined the church. And they have a lot of pictures on there. Some of them don't post a picture of themselves, but you can definitely find pictures of Amish people in their Amish clothes on especially Facebook or other social media platforms. Now, when it comes to the biblical beliefs about photography, there was one time mentioned the second commandment. Now, I don't even remember conversations about this besides one time mentioning that that's also a reason. And it says, "You shall not make yourself an idol in the form of anything in heaven above or on the earth or in the water below." A lot of groups had carved images that they worshipped, and the Israelites were strictly warned against they were strictly warned to separate themselves from these pagan nations. God hates idolatry in any form, and this commandment is talking about idolatry. It doesn't have to do with taking pictures. I know someone mentioned one time that a certain Amish community believes that something about, and if you take an image, it takes your soul or something like that. I was never told anything like that, and there wasn't much conversation. So it's not that big of a deal. Now, to answer the question of, are you allowed to take pictures of the Amish? Well, if you just use common sense, like they are just people. That's it. They're just equal people, just as equal as you and me. And you wouldn't want someone taking their phone and walking up to your car and being like, click, 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 and taking a picture. That's disrespectful. So if you're respectful about it, you can obviously take pictures of them. There's nothing wrong with that. There is no law against taking pictures of people. They're in public, so there's always cameras in all the public stores and parks and places that you go to. It really shouldn't be such a big deal. When I was on vacation with my family, we literally took a family photo with another family in front of their mural when we got off the train, because that's what they did. We just all stood there and posed for a picture, and then we bought it. And I have that picture. So it's not like that is such a big deal. It's just something that they themselves don't do. And they know that non-Amish people always take pictures. They know this. Sometimes they will just look away because they don't want to be in the camera. That's what we did. I remember doing that when we were on vacation sometimes growing up. We just looked the other way and we minded our own business. You know, it's okay if you take a picture because we're in public. Again, as long as you're respectful. And I know that the Amish have become like more of a tourist spots in some communities, and they're so different from everybody else. So that's why people want to take pictures and they're fascinated by the Amish. It's kind of funny because in the Amish, we are taught that we want to be separate from the world and we do not want to stand out. That's why we don't wear bright colors. We want to just be unnoticed, but they do the exact opposite. So of course, people are going to want to take pictures. And in some of the biggest Amish communities, they are a lot more used to that. But don't treat them like a zoo, because that's not what they are. They're just people like you and me. So remember to not make such a big deal out of photography in the Amish, and I'll see you next time.